This week on World Traveler Cooking. Maybe you like mashed potatoes. Maybe you're looking at trading it up a little bit. Maybe you want something that's a little healthier, maybe less starchy for your diabetic relatives. Maybe something with more vitamins and minerals in it. Maybe something that just tastes richer. At any rate, whether any of those apply to you, I've got the answer for what you're looking for. It's a dish from Scottish cuisine, Neeps and Tatties. Neeps are turnips and tatties are potatoes. Now, the only difference between this and mashed potatoes in many regards is the fact that half of your mass comes from turnips. Pretty much it. So, we have, for ingredients, equal parts potatoes and turnips. We have butter. We have milk, though you could use cream. We have salt and pepper. That's all. So, for those of you who know, I do not peel my potatoes before I cook them. I peel them after. People, I think, used to peel them before because otherwise you have to let them cool a little bit. But I think you get a better result almost always if you peel your potatoes afterwards. So I'm going to peel the turnips because they're a pain to peel after cooking. I'm going to put the turnips and the potatoes in a big pot of water and I'm going to start boiling. Let's get started. So here we have our peeled turnips, and you'll note that turnips have this kind of fibrous layer in here. We usually want to peel past it, and I think in this case we mostly have. Now we're basically going to boil this until everything's fork tender. When stuff's fork tender, I'll be pulling it out, so maybe the turnips might come out before the potatoes. But I'll be back as that happens. As your potatoes get done, just run them through your ricer. And you can do the same for your turnips, but the turnips are going to come out a little bit watery. That's normal. So just get the turnip in here, and as you'll see, it just kind of spurts out. And we're going to do this with all of the turnips and all the potatoes, and I'll be back when we're done. So now that these are all pressed, I'm going to just mix them together with my fork. And then from here, I'm going to start by adding butter and then milk. So for butter, and the amount of butter and milk you add is entirely up to you. It'll affect the consistency at the end, as well as the flavor. But I don't actually know anybody who measures this. Right, now I'm going to grab the milk and add that. So just stir this in. And it's worth noting that this takes a bit less milk than full mashed potatoes because the turnips are a bit watery. So, but it still needs a fair bit. Remember, it's always a lot easier to deal with too little milk than too much, so err on the side of caution. But this is looking really good. Finally, salt, pepper, I prefer fresh ground. Be generous. Stir this together. And here we have our Neeps and Tatties. So, next I'm going to plate some, and then we'll do the taste test. So to plate, I'm just going to mound it up on a plate. And then I can flatten it out a little bit if I like, but I don't need to. And I can top it with just a little bit more fresh ground pepper. So here we have our Neeps and Tatties. Next up, the taste test. And now for the taste test. It smells delicious. It's really interesting because at first it just tastes like mashed potatoes with a little bit of pepper on top. But you get this very interesting creamy richness from the turnips that first time I tried this I really was not expecting. Butter and the milk add a lot also. But this is a really delightful dish. It's a really delightful dish. I really like it. In fact, it's something that is, sort of my favorite mashed potato variant of all time. If you find this content interesting, I hope I've earned a like and a subscription from you. And please click on the drop down and select all notifications so you'll see when I come up with a new video. I also do appreciate comments relating to maybe how you'd make a dish like this differently. I think that adds a lot of value, so please don't be shy about commenting. But at any rate, recipes in the description. Bon appetit and see you next week.